This is the Flow 2 Pro, the newest smartphone gimbal from Insta360. Now, the original Flow was already one of my favourite gimbals to use for its compact design and its ease of use. And this latest edition is an upgrade in pretty much every way, so let's see what's new. So there is a lot to unpack here. You'll notice that we have this new design which enables whole new camera moves that just weren't possible before, new accessories to go with, upgrades to the tracking with DeepTrack 4.0, and some new additions to the Insta360 app, to name a few. I'm mostly going to be comparing this to the original Flow, as this is just the one that I've used the most. I never had a chance to try the Flow Pro. Insta360 did very kindly send this over, but they're not sponsoring this video. These are all my own thoughts and opinions after trying this out, and I'll link to it below if you want to check it out. So let's start first with the design. There's some pretty big changes here. The handle is now slightly longer, which makes it easier to hold. With the original Flow, you could extend the base out, but having to do that every time just sort of slowed you down when shooting, and I always found myself needing to use that rubber cover just to make it more comfortable. That's not been the case here. This does make the overall footprint a little bit bigger than the original, but I think it is worth that trade-off. It still fits in like a decent sized pocket for quick access. You can attach your phone, unfold it, and you're ready to start shooting. You even get a notification to jump right into the Insta360 app. It comes with a stretchy clamp to fit different widths of phone, or if you love magnets like me, they also have a MagSafe version, which just looks super clean, and it also doubles as a stand or a grip with this ring on the back, so that is a really nice touch. Now, the other thing they changed is how this actually unfolds, and this is a big one, and we'll get to why in just a moment. One of the things that I loved about the OG Flow was the built-in tripod. It meant that you could set this thing down pretty much anywhere on the ground or on a table or bench, and then do some self-shooting. Now the tripod legs are solid metal and they're even longer, which makes it more sturdy. And it still has that thread on the bottom, so you can mount it to a bigger tripod if you need even more height. The smart wheel has had a redesign too, now with these LEDs that go around the outside to show what mode you're in, and a bigger joystick that I found easier to use. Speaking of selfies, if you ever want to record yourself with the better quality rear camera, well, now when you spin the whole thing round, they have added a mirror on the back, so you can still check yourself out and see your hair and make sure you're looking good. So that is another nice little addition. They've also simplified the design of the little LED attachment. It now plugs straight into the USB-C port on the gimbal with these little latches to hold it in place. There's no more cable dangling about, so that's another nice refinement for an accessory that gives you more light on your face when you are recording in lower light. The Flow 2 Pro comes with a lot of different shooting modes, which I have actually already covered in my review of the original Flow. And those are all still present here, so go check out that video if you're completely new to gimbals and you want to see how you can use things like follow mode, pan follow, FPV and lock mode for different kinds of shots. And that is where the Flow 2 Pro really shines. Smartphones now have some pretty good optical and digital stabilization for video, so you don't need to buy a gimbal to shoot smooth footage. But this will let you do camera moves and shoot from angles that you just can't do handheld. You can do a complex tilt and pan, you can invert the whole gimbal and shoot a really low angle like this for a walking shot, or you can put it in FPV mode and do a barrel roll for a rotating shot like this, which just would be really hard to do with the phone handheld. But one of the limitations of the original Flow was this gimbal couldn't continuously rotate all the way around and do a 360 pan. That was fixed with the Pro. There's no obstruction, meaning you can capture full 360 video or photos. Then with the Flow 2 Pro, they've added something called free tilt mode. And this fixes another limitation from before. If you ever try to do like a crane movement, starting low and raising your phone up to do a nice revealing, establishing shot, well, you just couldn't. There was only so far that you could tilt up and down, meaning that you just couldn't get the shot. That is not the case with the Flow 2 Pro, and that's why we have this new pointy bit that's sticking out. You can bend the hinge on the selfie stick towards you and then twist the grip 45 degrees to the on position, and then that puts the gimbal into free tilt mode, breaking that tilt access limit for pulling off crane shots, orbits, or some low angle transitions. Now, I will say it does feel a little bit weird, like you shouldn't be twisting and bending things on the gimbal like that, but trust the process, it's fine. And this is the first smartphone gimbal to have this much range of movement for pulling off these types of tilt shots. Tracking also gets an update with DeepTrack 4.0. You can start tracking a subject by pulling the trigger on the back or drawing a box on screen to choose exactly what you want, be it a person or pet or even an object. And this is pretty cool. You can now choose where you want your subject to be in the frame with the new Pro framing grid. So you can frame slightly off to the side to show more of the landscape for some nicer shot compositions. You're not stuck with a person in the middle of the frame all the time. That tracking also combines with the 360-degree rotation as well. So if you do need to film yourself as you move about a space, then it will follow you all the way around. Enjoy this awkward footage of me walking and running. I can't skateboard or do anything fancy like that, but if you can, then you can use it to track yourself and show off your moves. Insta360 says that DeepTrack 4 has an upgraded AI tracking algorithm that is able to track subjects with even more precision than before. Now, I always found it to be very good anyway, so I honestly can't say that I've noticed that much of a difference. It was already great for me. And it does still continue to track a subject even if something else moves across the frame or blocks them from view. But what is new is you can now track subjects even when you're zoomed all the way in with the 5x telecamera, and even track multiple people all at once and keep everyone together in the frame. So that's a great one if you are trying to film a group of people all at once. The other thing that this supports that we never had on the original Flow is Apple DockKit, and I believe that this is still the only gimbal on the market that currently supports this. You can tap your iPhone on that NFC pairing point here at the top and it will start the pairing process. You can already shoot in any app you want. You can still change the gimbal mode. You can use the joystick and switch orientation, but you won't get access to any of the DeepTrack features. DockKit allows you to use Apple's built-in tracking with the default camera app or any third-party app that supports it. So if you are self-shooting or you're going live on Instagram, then you're not locked down to a static shot. You can have the gimbal track and follow you as you move about. It's not as advanced as DeepTrack. You can't draw a box on the screen like in the Insta360 app, and you don't have as much control. It just starts tracking you as soon as you enter the frame. And it does also tend to frame things very centered. But it is supported in the native camera, FaceTime if you want to do a video call, Instagram for live broadcasts, and I believe there's like over 200 apps that support DockKit now, and it's good enough when you just need some basic tracking. If you want to have some more advanced tracking in third-party apps, well, Insta360 does have a solution. They have this little AI Tracker Accessory that they just launched, and that attaches to that USB-C port by the phone mount. So once again, you can start or stop tracking with the trigger on the back, or if you're on your own, you can make a palm gesture instead and it will lock onto a person and you're good to go. The tracking seems much smoother to me compared to what you get with DockKit. And for any non-iPhone users that don't get DockKit, then this is going to be a must for you as it brings tracking to any third-party app that you want to use on Android. The Blackmagic camera app is probably the pinnacle of camera apps right now. It gives you so much extra control and features for shooting more professional mobile video. And it just gets even better when you pair it with the tracking that you get from this little add-on, especially when you are trying to pull off those more complex shots. It basically fills the gap of missing features that you don't get with Apple DockKit, and for £40 or dollars, it is not a super pricey add-on for those that need it. Also, for any vloggers, you don't have to choose between the AI tracker or the light attachment, as the tracker also has a built-in light with 3 brightness options and 3 different color temperatures for different settings and times of day. It's pretty much exactly the same size as well, so you're just better off getting the tracker if you need to have both features. The Insta360 app also gets some new features. It works with Android and iOS, so you can use the Flow 2 Pro with both. But some features are only on the iPhone, so do check the product page if you are looking to use this with an Android. On the iPhone, we can now shoot in Apple Log in the Insta360 app. That means you can shoot in the absolute best quality while pulling off those complex camera moves with the gimbal. As far as I can tell, you can't choose a format, so these log files are going to be pretty massive. A 30-second 4K 30 clip came in at around 2.8 gigabytes for me. I can't see any way to shoot log in more efficient formats like H.265, which I would definitely like to see added. So that does mean that you're probably going to want to hook your phone up to an SSD for even more storage. I recommend this Lexar SSD as it is super compact. It plugs right into the C port on your phone, so you don't need to awkwardly find somewhere to mount the drive and have like a dangling cable. It's light, it doesn't have any noticeable effect on the gimbal, and it comes in 1 or 2 terabyte options, giving you plenty of extra space to store those big log files when you want to shoot in the absolute best quality. The other neat thing they added is a teleprompter. So if you are recording yourself and you're using the front camera and you just need some prompts or notes, you can paste a script into the app and have it on screen to glance at as you record. This next one is actually really cool. They've added the ability to remote control the gimbal and monitor the footage from another phone. So let's say that you have the flow with your phone mounted somewhere that is out of reach, or you've got someone operating the gimbal and another person wants to monitor the shot as well. Well, now you can generate a QR code in the app, which anyone can scan, and it opens up the camera controls with a live video feed on that person's phone. So another person can choose the modes or start and stop recording, reframe the shot with the on-screen joystick, or draw a box on screen to track a subject. The best thing is it's all web browser based as well, so they don't even need to have the app installed. So if you are working with like a small crew on a budget short and you've got one person operating the gimbal and a director or a DP wants to monitor the shot without having to, awkwardly look over the operator's shoulder, well, they can do all of that from their own device. It is really cool. I couldn't find any way to remotely set things like white balance or shutter speed, so if they could add that to the remote control, then that would make it even better. And I'd also like to see an option to be able to do the remote control from the installed app, as at the moment it is all web browser based, but that is good enough for monitoring a shot when you need to. The Flow 2 Pro is a really versatile piece of kit. It's a fantastic companion for vlogging or self-shooting out and about. If you want to set it down for a wider hands-free shot, you've got the built-in tripod legs and the tracking to keep you in the frame. It's great for capturing those family moments or shooting travel videos, which is how I used the original Flow. I love that you can plug your phone into it as well when it's getting low and also use it as a power bank. If you're shooting a short film on a budget and you want to shoot it all on phones, well, this lets you pull off some really smooth camera moves that you just wouldn't be able to do handheld. And now we have the ability to get those crane-like shots thanks to that new design. I'd say that it takes budget filmmaking to that next level, and it's affordable too. It starts at £145, so it's not going to break the bank. I'll link to it down below. They also have some bundles if you want to get some of those add-ons at the same time. It has some really nice quality of life improvements over the original Flow, which was already pretty great. So, you might not feel the need to upgrade from this one just yet. But if this is your first smartphone gimbal, then I really don't think that you can go wrong for all of these features at this price. Leave a like if this video helped you out, drop any questions down in the comments, and if you want to see more tech videos from me, you can subscribe and hit the bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.